Okay, yeah. We'll talk to you later on. I got to do the podcast. 73. Hey, this is W5MHG, Mark, and this is the month of November podcast on YHAMRADIO. This month, we've got KC5 EFM, Art, and he's going to talk to us about why he got into ham radio, what he likes about it, and what he doesn't, and we're going to get a chance to see around his shack. Hope you enjoy it. 73. Alrighty. This is W5MHG. Let me see if you can get me right there. That's me. And KC5 EFM, Art. And this is the beginning of our podcast, and we'll be having once a month, give or take. And we're here at Art's Ham Shack. He's got a lot of stuff here that he's going to show us around. How you doing, Art?
Doing real good. How about you?
Doing well, doing well. So
yeah.
Why don't you tell us what you got here on your desk and get us all interested?
Well, first of all, I got a Drake TRC4W, and it does about 160 watts HF, high frequency, 10 through 80, and it does quite a bit of things that the older radios usually didn't do.
What does 10 through 80 mean?
That means from 10 meters through 80 meters.
Okay. And those are bands.
Yeah, and they're from frequency 28 to 30 megahertz.
Okay.
And that's my baby there. I love that radio. Then I have an ICOM IC746 Pro, and that one is an HF radio, and it's got 6 meters also, and that's 50 megahertz, and it does 2 meters also, so that's a nice radio. I like it a lot better than the 756, I think, what they have. That one, they lost the 2 meter part. I had a chance to get one, but I changed my mind. Then over here I have my 706 Mark II-G, and that one does from 70 centimeters through 160 meters. Mm-hmm. And that's all the HF, 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeter.
Can I turn this light
yeah.
on? There we go.
And then I have and this one is all mode. It does all mode on 2 meters and 70 centimeters, which are the bands that I like. Then I have a 2 meter Kenwood here that does all mode, and that one's just 2 meter. Mm-hmm. Then I keep meters on all my radios. All my radios are hooked up to meters, so I could see what they're doing, the power outage and the SWRs. Mm. And SWRs is a standing wave ratio of the antenna. If that gets too high, there's a tendency to ruin your radio. Mm. Then I have a Linko DR610, and that one's my FM radio. This one here, and that one's a dual bander. It does 2 meter and 70 centimeter. And we have a Mac computer here that I use for QRZ and getting on the internet. Mm-hmm. And then my weather station back over here, I monitor the weather, and it usually is pretty interesting to see the weather. Mm-hmm. Then I have a DC power strip. I run solar in here, solar with batteries, and that's my on and off switch for part of my solar system, and the other part runs down below. It's just on all the time. Mm-hmm. Then I have a computer that I keep logs and rosters on, and let's see what else. I got right now I have an FT101B, and I have various ones of them that I've used and had. I wanted to start up a museum for the 101 FT101 series, but I ran out of space, so I'm slowly getting rid of it. And in the collection, I came across this FT620, and that one is a 6 meter rig. which sort of matches the HF rig. That's why I got it. It's really not in that series, but it matches real well, so that's why I got it. And then this is the frequency counter for that radio. This radio, you could tune it by that frequency counter, and it gives you the receive frequency and the transmit frequency. So it's pretty high tech for back in the late 70s, probably is when it was developed there.
Both of those radios were in about the late 70s?
Probably, yeah. I'm not sure for sure, but probably in the late. From the 70 through 80, yeah.
Okay.
And then I like these ICOM microphones because you could hook two radios to them. They got an A/B switch, and they're ICOM, but you could wire any mic to any radio just about. Just takes a little bit of knowledge of where the pinouts are. And that's about it of my shack, and I got a bunch of junk here that I've been cleaning the shack up, trying to get it organized. I've been thinning the herd there. So that's the KC5 EFM ham shack there.
Okay, we're going to come back in a couple of minutes with some questions. Okay, we're back, and we're going to be asking Art some questions on ham radio. So let's continue on. All right, Art. This is KC5 EFM, and we've been looking at a shack. So when did you get started in ham radio, and how did you get started?
Yeah, I got my license in November of 1993. I started out as a CB'er in the 80s, and with the cussing and the way people act on those frequencies, I couldn't take it anymore because I had a child and didn't want him exposed to that kind of language and stuff, and heard about ham radio. So we studied and got our ticket. We studied for 3 months and got my technician license. Technician test. Because back then you had to take a novice test and a technician test. So it was the novice test that I took first, and it took me 3 months to study for that. And then I studied another month and passed my technician test, which gave me the privilege of a technician licensee. And that was pretty nice because I could talk on quite a bit of frequencies, anything above 6 meters. And then to get more privileges, I went ahead and took the 5 word per minute test, and that was CW, or code, a Morse code as it's called. And it took me 3 times to pass that one. But I finally got it, and I was able to get on HF CW.
And
so
HF is what?
It's a high frequency.
Okay.
On let's see, I could get on 10 meters, 15 meters, 40 meters, and 80 meters, I believe is what the privileges were. And so I started doing CW on 40 meters. Mostly around 7/100, and boy, I really enjoyed that. I was working evenings, get off of work at 11, and be home by 11:30, and then I would get me a snack. Turn on my radio, get me a snack and something to drink, and then by then my radio was warmed up, and I'd go back there and do code from about 12 o'clock till about 3 o'clock, and then I'd go to bed. But anyway, it was really enjoyable, and I did that every day of the week for, I don't know, 5 years probably.
Let me ask you, so how long have you been licensed right now?
Well, I'm not sure exactly, but let's see, last November, was it? Yeah, I believe last November I renewed my license for the second time. So about probably 21 years.
So 21 years, and you still like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. That's longer than some marriages.
Yep, that's true.
Okay, so now, what don't you like about ham radio? I know you read this question before. Tell us about some of the things, you know, through the years, like a marriage, you may not like some of the things.
Well, it's true, and ham radio really has a a niche for everybody. And I understand that, and there's a lot of stuff that I really don't care for, but a whole lot of other people do.
Right.
And the thing I don't like is all the internet linking of communication on radio amateur. It's good for certain people, and what gets me the most is that they call it ham radio. And I really don't think it's ham radio. In fact, I know it's not ham radio. So that's the only thing I really don't like about ham radio, actually. Right now, the thing I don't like about ham radio is that I can't maintain my own antennas and stuff because of my health. But other than that, I like ham radio, almost every aspect of it.
And in the next segment, we'll take some shots of his antennas when we close up here. So, very good. And how do you think the hobby has grown since you've been in 21 years? I mean, besides the Echolink and the internet, do you think it's changed a lot since you got into it, the radios and so forth?
Well, there's a lot of digital modes that I haven't even explored. I have done PSK 31, and I got into that when they first started. I didn't have the unit, but was volunteering at the VA hospital, and they've got a station there. And they had a setup for PSK 31. So that's where I used to do it before I'd run the VA net. And that's well, I'm not sure about growth. And the membership, I guess, has grown quite a bit, and more younger folks has become ham radio operators.
Yeah. Okay, and can you explain a little bit of what PSK looks like? What is
on the waterfall?
Yeah, and how do you communicate with people with this PSK thing?
Okay, the communication is actually done through RF, from antenna to antenna, which is real ham radio. You do use a computer, but you're not on the internet. And you use the computer for interface between the radio and the and what comes in. The radio turns it into digital, which displays on the computer, and then the computer you type on the computer and it turns to digital. It turns digital into radio, what the radio can handle, I guess, RF, and then it goes out as RF.
So now we've covered the digital and talking on the radio. What do we talk about on there? I mean, doesn't it get boring? Many people talk about, what do you talk to these strangers about? What kind of conversations do you have?
Well, just like being face to face with somebody, you just talk with them for whatever reason you want to talk about. Most of hams, they talk about their equipment, their radios, their antennas, and their lifestyle, what kind of job they have, or if they're retired or whatever. The only thing that's kind of a gentleman's agreement, I guess you'd call it, is that they suggest you don't talk about politics or religion, because that usually turns into a mess one way or another. But other than that, you could just about talk about anything. No profanity, though.
Yeah. Oh, shucks.
No porn CW.
Okay, and what are these things we talk about, nets? They have nets on there. Are they like fishing nets?
Well, in a way, it is like a fishing net, because you're trying to catch people to check into your net.
That's
and
true.
A net is just a group of people to get together and form a communication network, I guess you'd call it. And most of the nets are traffic nets. They supply different traffic from different parts of the city or the country, depending if it's a high-frequency net or a VHF, UHF net. And most nets have their regular check-ins, and then once in a while you get travelers coming through, and they check in and sometimes ask questions about or ask for information about the city, where to locate something or what to do or something like that. So they're pretty useful.
So you can have these radios in your cars too.
That's right. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I do high frequency in the car, and I also do VHF and UHF in the car. In the morning, I check into what's called the breakfast club, and while I take the wife to work, I check into that and listen, and pretty nice. It seems to work pretty good most of the time. Sometimes the propagation isn't all that good.
So you have to have an antenna for all of these types of radios to make it work, correct?
Basically, yeah. I imagine there's ways to get around that. But in all, there are considered antennas. In the old days, they used to even tune up old bed springs and gutters on houses and stuff. But in the long run, they're still antennas.
Right, right. Well, let's take a look at some of your antennas on the next segment. How do you like that?
That sounds good to me.
All right. Okay, Art, what do we got here?
Well, that's my weather station. It's Davis Vintage Pro, and I just got that, maybe 8 months ago, maybe a year ago, but I think it's more like 8 months. And that one's really nice. It works fantastic. And the monitor that was inside, that's what it's hooked to. And it gives me all kinds of information.
Cool. Very good. I'll see. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to.
Okay.
And that's my, I call it a cactus antenna, but it's a narrow antenna look-alike or a copycat there. So, and it does really well. I've got two of them, and they both work really well. They're for 2 meter and 70 centimeter.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I've got one of those myself. What are we looking at over here?
This is a Yagi, a 70 centimeter Yagi, and that's on my test stand. That test stand is pretty nice because I could let it down real easy, pick it up real easy, and put antennas on them and test them.
Cool.
And then the other antenna that's behind there, little round circles, is it's for, well, the internet, I think, is what it originated, but I have my TV hooked to it. And then the antenna on the back, the big tall white one, that one is a dual band base antenna. It's a tram. I can't remember the model number of it right now, but that's what that is. And that's my main antenna that I talk on.
All right, very good. Well, let's go on over to the top of the house here.
Then there, the bottom antenna, the biggest one, that's a 6 meter Yagi. It's a Cushcraft. The one above that is a 900 megahertz antenna. I used to do 900 megahertz. But since I can't maintain my antenna, I've gotten rid of the radios and such. And above that is a 1296 antenna, or 23 centimeter antenna. Wow. And I used to do that frequency also, but since I got rid of the radio. And I haven't had a chance to get them all down.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, why don't we take a look at your mobile?
Sounds good.
See what it looks like there. All right, what are we looking here at, Art?
Well, this is my other 706 Mark II-G in my mobile unit. Luke's Ham Shack is the one that installed it for me. And they did a real good job. They didn't take long at all either. Just a day, and they had it all installed. The main unit of the radio is in the trunk. I will try to look at it, but I don't know if we'll be able to see it. But we'll give it a try and see. And it does, like my other 706 HF, 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and 6 meter. And it's an all-mode radio.
So now, for those that are not familiar, this is hooked up to the antenna that we'll see in a little while. And you can talk. Where's your mic for this thing?
Yeah, the mic is right here. Right now I haven't set it up where I want it, but it sits in the cup holder here. And actually the antenna is not hooked to this part. A control cable to the main body of the radio is hooked up to this.
Oh, I see. And then do you have to have some type of tuner or something for the antenna, or does it just go right into the antenna?
I do have a tuner for it. It takes a tuner. I have a screwdriver antenna. It's a Tar Heel 2. And the turbo tuner, and all I've got to do is push this red button when I'm at on HF or high frequency, and that'll tune it to the frequency that I have set automatically.
And so tuning is to get the antenna ready for you to talk on. Is that what it's about?
Well, in a sense it is, but it's for the SWR, the standing wave radio, that you got to have set, because you don't want high SWRs, because if you do, then it's a chance you'll burn your radio. Although these newer radios, they do fold back. They fold back the power. So it's kind of hard to hurt them, but there's a possibility that may fail.
And for new hams, this is something that you can learn down the road after you get into the hobby. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. When I got my license, I went ahead and memorized all the questions and answers. Then after I got my license, I just went through and studied them all again and figured out what they were and stuff. And I had been listening to the radio for a year, 1 year before I got my license. So it was pretty simple for me to start operating when I got my license.
Okay. Well, why don't we take a look at the trunk and the antenna, and we'll close off there. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Alrighty.
Okay, this is my Tar Heel 2 HF antenna, and that covers from 6 meter through 80 meters. And we enjoy doing HF in the car. Although here lately I need a driver or somebody to log for me, because my equilibrium, I guess, or sense of direction fails me when I'm driving and trying to log. I sort of run off the road.
And what is logging you're talking about there?
The logging is you keep a record of who you talk to. In the old days, you were supposed to do that and were required to have a log on your station. But now they don't require it. But it's a good idea. That way, if they send you a QSL card, you could send them one back and know that you've talked to them, and give them reports of their signal report and audio report.
I see you got another antenna here. Is this for the car stereo?
No, that's for 2 meter and 70 centimeter frequencies. It's on the same radio, but this is a different antenna. The wavelength is shorter, I guess. I'm not sure how that works. I'm not really a technician, so I can't describe why. But it does take a different antenna.
What's that little guy on there, that hot dog?
Oh, this is our we need the Schnitzel antenna rider there.
Does it stay on there when it's going your car?
Yeah, every once in a while you'll swing around, see what goes on the other side, but yeah.
All right, well, let's swing around underneath the trunk and see. I don't want you to open up because, I
have to take this off. That way when we're not using the radio, we could just take it off, put it in the back seat, and if we ever need it, there it goes. Just one twist and we're on. And here is the rest of the radio. This is the main box here of the 706 Mark II-G.
Oh, I see.
And then this is the tuner that I was talking about. And that one is the turbo tuner, I think. And I have it on Velcro because I want to use it on the truck when I go mobile in that.
Oh, I see.
But anyway, it sticks up there real nice and hangs on.
Okay.
But that's about it. That consists of the
whole setup.
Yeah. And this is the wire that Luke's Ham Shack put in. Luke down there put all this in for me and ran the control cables for the antenna and for the radio itself.
So it's not a very difficult thing to do.
No.
Yeah. All right. Now, the last question is, how do you get your wife, a girlfriend, involved in this if you want to share the hobby?
Well, I think I'm the wrong person to ask for the simple reason is I've been married 38 years. And for 21 of those years, I've been trying to get my wife to become a ham. And, we're still trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Money don't work. Diamonds don't work.
Shoes don't work.
Well, yeah, shoes don't work. I don't know. I've asked her what works, and she tells me, well, whenever I'm ready, I'm ready.
But there are a lot of women involved in it, though.
Oh, there's quite a few women, yeah, and there's some that their husbands aren't ham, but they are.
Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah, it's pretty neat.
I want to thank you for doing it, Art. You took a lot of time with us, and we appreciate it. God bless you.
Okay.
And we'll talk next time on the radio.
All right, 7-3 for now.
All right, 7-3. All right. We're here with Sammy the Beagle again, and this is W5MHG, and that was KC5 EFM. And we're going to come back next month with another ham saying, why ham radio? Really want to thank him for coming in and doing the interview with us. That's W5MHG and W5DOG. See you next month. 73.